Hello. Hello and welcome to my road of becoming good at putting. This is a video series where I'm experimenting on myself, how many days, how many efforts and how many different styles of putting do I need to make myself into a good putter. In this episode I'm going to change a little bit my graphics details. The colors on my graphics are going to be the same, but the reasoning behind the colors is going to be different. From now on, everything is going to be red if it's 6% or below of my average. It's going to be gray if it's below 5 or up 5% of the average, and it's going to be green when it's more than 6% of the average, 6 or more percent of the average. So I'm going to put under here, you can see the average is so far on the road. They are low, but this is the reason why I'm doing this. There's nothing else to say. The average of the Yuli game is also below where I want it to be, but the goal is move everything up, and the Yuli game, it should be around 700 points to consider myself good at putting. Let's be honest, the average of the Yuli game is not going to be over 700, but the goal is to consistently make over 700 points. If I'm going to have 10 days in a row where I'm going to have more than 700 points, then I consider myself good at putting. Let's get active and dive into it. The new graphic color system giving me already different view, as coming from the injury on my left foot, I was having some difficulties. If you want to find out more about the weird injury, check out my video vlog episode 57. Let's move on to the Yuli games. All 3 days was the same issue with the consistency and was pretty grey as a result. Day 93 putting was so awful that I was thinking about changing things. Like you can see, the percentages are really bad, so there needs to be some changes because my confidence is so bad right now. So anyway, I'm going to try the next 3 days, at least 3 days. I'm going to do 7-meter putts only for the 100 putts, and I'm going to do the stagger stand. I'm going to start doing this instead of doing this, and let's see what happens. I think it might be a good change, and yeah, let's get active. The new putting style is something I don't really feel comfortable with, but I decided to make 100 putts only from 7 meters on this 3-day period, and boy oh boy, the results were different. The same issues followed and consistency was nowhere to be found. 7 meters and below 50% is really bad. The Yuli games was no different, as I got barely over 300 points. This is not good and needs to be changed, as today it is very demotivating like that, as the putting is in straddle feels so uncomfortable anyway. On day 97 I decided to go back to the previous style, and it showed some promise. Sadly my low confidence kicked in, and the next days the results were going down. So I'm not going to stay on those numbers here and move on to the Yuli games. On day 97, 2 rounds before end, had the option to go for 400 points, but with the bad confidence and pressure I put on myself with trying to get to 400, I played the last 2 rounds really bad and even missed all 5 putts from 7 meters. So 307 points, but is already up from the previous days. Day 98 was really difficult, specifically the beginning of the game, but towards the end I found my timing and long putts were feeling easy again. Still ended with only 352 points, but considering that front 10 I had less than 150 points, that can be satisfied with that. Day 99 was no different, even though I feel I had a good option to get to 400 points. I did not get there, but I was seeing so many positives already. On day 100, my 100 putts from 7 meters started feeling better, as I feel my confidence is coming back, slowly. After calculating the numbers, it was still in the red, but just 53% would give a great day. Day 101 was already an improvement as I feel my confidence starting to come back very slowly, like I said. On day 102 I decided to lose the frog bump and went back to my very first confirmed style, and it was feeling so much better and the results is better as well. On day 100 I finally got to 400 points after a long time. I checked, the last time I was more than 400 points was day 90. 10 practice days to be at 400 points is very sad, but let's choose to see the positives only. The next days the yearly game was up and down, but the positive is that on my missed putts I was mostly hitting the basket, but not just in yet. After a long time I was feeling a little bit hope again. With this episode's results I'm not really happy. If you see the episode average on the screen, they are really bad. I know that I have found my way of putting, how I can engage my legs, how I can engage my wrist, but the wrist action is still a problem, but it stems basically from my confidence. Every time when I don't feel confident enough, I keep coming up and to the right, up to the right, but you need to come up and release, up and release. It's kind of a weird thing. So also what I discovered on this episode, that if I put my this finger more like this, then I have the tendency to do more of this, swiveling my wrist. So if I keep the finger like this, then the chance of swiveling is much smaller. So I have been trying to keep it like this. I'm not really going to talk about the averages because they're really bad. You can see how many percentages the change has been. It's below and it's moving a little bit backwards, but I need to trust the process and keep on going. And this, like I said, this is an experiment and we need to experiment it until the end. Anyway, if you want to check previous episodes, go to the playlist and watch the entire story from the beginning and you will understand more where I am today. Other than that, have a beautiful day and see you next time. Bye.